Ja Warrant, that's right, I said it, is a moron. I don't actually personally have obviously anything against the guy. I actually would love to see him become one of the most successful players of all time in the NBA. But Ja Morant is a fucking moron. He is so fucking determined beyond repair to become this weird persona of a gangsta thug, as Shannon Sharpe puts it. And so I've been putting it too, because actually it's very accurate to that cliche stereotype. He's determined to become one, apparently, to the public eye. Why? Probably deep insecurities is my best guess, because there's really no logical reason for him to go this route. It makes absolutely no damn sense, but he's hell-bent on doing it. Because after all, today, which is the 14th of May of 2023, he once again decided to flash and brandish a firearm in Instagram Live. Probably because, again, of insecurities, thus he thinks it makes him look tough or something. For whatever reason, he doesn't want his own game to speak for him. He wants a persona to speak for him, as if he's some Hollywood star, especially from like the 90s. He wants to fabricate this gangsta thug persona so that he looks so tough that you don't want to fuck or mess with him. Even though he could just do that with his own game without actually doing a Dylan Brooks or doing a gangsta thug, turn heel type of thing. But he is hell-bent on it for some stupid reason. Here's the facts about him. He grew up in a lower middle class family in suburb. He was in a safe neighborhood. He didn't have any of the gang shit around him. He had both parents at home that were very actually caring and always there. He had, they had plenty of money to keep the roof over their heads and have some, what, especially I'm sure for the cliche inner city black communities, is going to be considered to be luxuries, or even just general poor populations in poverty. You're going to end up having, things that are otherwise to those people considered high luxuries, obviously. The thing is that that's the truth about his background and his up and coming, his growing up period. So he's never been associated with gangs or thugs or anything like that shit. And for some stupid reason, once he becomes an NBA superstar, he gets this massive status, he gets this massive amount of fame and acclaim, becomes pretty much what's considered one of the future faces, if not the future face of the NBA. He has a actually very positive, great reputation off the bat, and he's hell-bent on destroying it by going down the opposite route instead. He's like, oh, well, now that I have money, and I have status, and I have everything, including the platforms I need to be able to use, to be able to inspire, help, fund, and so on, all these people that are in poverty or gang or other situations or around that kind of stuff, that are struggling, to not only prove to them there is choices you have, you can get out, despite what you consistently seem to demand is true and believe about yourselves. You can. I'm here now. Denzel Washington's over there. You have all the other cliche, all the other examples. I don't know why I say cliche there. They just force a habit at this point. But it's just like, why is it that instead of using his platform for good, for the benefit, especially of the black community, and the impoverished community, why doesn't he use it for that instead of trying to go down, be thankful and extremely gracious about it and humble about it and be like, yo, when I want to be a gangsta thug, I'm going to let my game do the talking, and I'm not going to talk at all. It's going to be all action on the court. It's once I'm off the court, I want to do the exact opposite. I want to show my support, my understanding, my compassion, my will and desire to help and inspire, and do everything I can to use my fortune, my fame, all of that to the benefit of the people who really think they can't get out. And show you fucking can. You can build something if you just put your mind and heart into it. Even as cliche or maybe sissy as that sounds, it's the facts. How else the fuck did he get there? Just really, he had to work his ass off. So it's just like, now that once he got that fame and that acclaim. And it was actually, especially once he got that fucking Supermax contract, for some reason he became determined to become this weird gangsta thug arc. I don't understand why he's so determined to do that. So one of the things I wanted to mention about that is for whatever reason, we had the track record in the history once he started going down that route. He, had the incident with his mom at the mall and his posse, and the really negative interaction with the security guards there. There was the incident with that teenager in that pickup game he was holding outside his house, which isn't really a house, it's a true mansion, obviously. He has the money, he spent it on a mansion. Some other incident, I can't even remember what it was. Oh, right, it was the Pacers thing. After the Pacers game, when somebody who, by the way, we definitely know if it's a red dot site, which is what those red laser sites are called. Laser beams! That they supposedly saw, the security guards would know. Obviously. And they're the ones who called it out and said that has to be a red dot sight from a gun that was aimed out of this, Suburban. Or Escalade, or whatever the fuck it was. Which, they're the same vehicle, let's be honest. But the thing is that nobody wants to mention is that those vehicles obviously are heavily pimped out. And they're super fucking tinted windows. So you're not going to be able to see necessarily including the camera, especially the security cameras. And at night, you're not going to be able to see in through those windows and know who it was that had pointed the gun, or even if they pointed the gun in the first place. And that's exactly the problem with that story, is that they're trying to say, nah, there's no verifiable proof. Well, yeah, no shit. They would have pointed through that because they knew they could get away with it. And, Ja was obviously in that vehicle, and that friend of his, I can't remember his name right now, that also caused the incident with Shannon Sharpe, I think, or it was the Pacers themselves. But he got into it, and then he got banned from coming to NBA games, if I recall correctly. That was just Pacers and Grizzlies games. So he's not going to be showing up in Arena anymore, but his wingman is banned. And he's been there through every single one of these incidents. He's always right there, which is also telling that it's probably a bad influence, is that guy. Either way, the point I'm trying to get at is that, ultimately, again, he ended up doing flashing and brandishing a gun on Instagram Live in Colorado. That's what got him his original suspension. And thus sent him to supposed rehab in Miami for the 2-3 days that he was there before the suspension that they had on him was lifted and he could go back to play with the team. And so instead of committing to his mental health and his rehabilitation, he just instantly joined the team again. And I'm going to put this out there because this is a matter of fact. The fact is, if you're genuinely recognizing, hey, I have a problem and I need to get it fixed, because it's causing a lot of strain and issues, not just for myself and my own reputation, but for the team I'm playing for. I need to get my head straight, and I need to fix this. So I'm going to commit to my rehab. In this case, if I recall correctly, he said he has issues with alcohol. So I'm assuming that's what his rehab was in Miami, was alcohol addiction. So he was going to rehab there, but 2-3 days is not going to do anybody any good. It's not going to do shit. And it proved to me he's not actually genuine when he says he was committed to getting rehab. He doesn't actually give a fuck. Moreover, if he really has mental health issues, supposedly causing him to make stupid choices and react by brandishing guns on Instagram Live, because that was literally his excuse for doing that, which, apparently makes perfect logical sense. Apparently. He would have jumped to also get therapy. In fact, in tandem with rehab, it's probably the perfect combination in time to do that the combination of the two. You might even be able to get whoever your rehab director, or whatever they call the person who handles your specific rehab, because I'm sure you're assigned a specific person, guidance counselor or whatever. They might be able to be pulled into therapy sessions and vice versa, so that both can get an idea for what's really going on in your head, so and they know your real states, so that they actually know genuinely and understand fully what's really going on. And so you might be able to find the root causes of either by combining those two. So it's really the perfect situation. And if he was really committed to fixing these things and getting his head straight and everything, so it doesn't become a detriment to his team, himself, his reputation, anything like that, his contract, then he would commit to that. He wouldn't just jump immediately as soon as he's unsuspended to go play with the team again. I don't care if you think, oh, we're going to get to the fucking finals. You focus on that. Because long term, it's going to help you and it's going to help your team. Anybody with a brain knows that. With a half a brain cell understands that. So it showed he's not committed to it. He doesn't really mean what he says. He just kind of throws it out there as excuses. To prove that further, as of today, he did it again. He fucking brandished his firearm on Instagram Live again. So, of course, he's been suspended again, and now he's going through another investigation. Just wait, because I bet, if anything, he's going to launch some sort of a stupid public statement saying it's his mental health again. And maybe he's going to mention his alcohol thing again, that he's going to go back into rehab. Like, you can tell this is a crutch. He doesn't mean anything he's saying. He doesn't actually give a fuck. You can tell, because it's repetitious. If you keep apologizing and saying, oh, my bad, it's because of my mental health, and I have an alcohol problem. I'm a rehab. You're not going to keep repeating the same fucking mistake. Admittedly, with an addiction, you might, because of the fact that it's very tough. If you know anyone who struggles with alcohol addiction, they will tell you outright that when you go into recovery or remission from your addiction, you're never, ever out of the woods. You're always perpetually addicted, meaning you're simply holding off your addiction. You're stopping it from having any kind of a vice grip on you, or any kind of control on you. So you actively avoid it at all costs. So anybody who's been to AA or other forms of rehab, they will tell you that straight to your face. Like, there is no such thing as curing yourself of your addiction to alcohol. It is permanent. You're clean, you're sober, you don't touch alcohol at all, because it's so quick once you touch it once. A lot of times you'll just find, whether you realize it or not, you're slipping really quickly back into your addiction again. It's like that. So, if he was really committed, he would have immediately gone back to rehab, at least as soon as they got evicted from the playoffs. Well, he didn't, obviously, and he hasn't been. So, my point, again, like I said, is that it's clear he does not mean anything he is saying about both the rehab and also the therapy, although he hasn't actually mentioned getting therapy, but he's mentioned he has supposed mental health issues, supposedly, that cause him to make, as he's claimed, in specific reference to, at least in the Colorado one, the flashing, brandishing of firearms on Instagram Lives. I want to also point this out, give this little detail for context. When he got suspended for brandishing his firearm and showing it off on his Instagram Live, for seemingly no reason really, in Denver, Colorado, he immediately deactivated his Instagram account. So basically took it down, deleted it. All of a sudden, at some point, he reactivated them. And he did it again! Today! He did it again! Hey, you don't do that if you mean what you say. He frustrates me, because, like I said, he could so very easily instead be choosing to use his position, his newfound fame, acclaim, and especially money, fortune, to the advantage of all these disadvantaged people and communities. If he wanted to, that would be the perfect fucking off-court platform for him. And it would be perfect for the league, and thus the league would promote him and hold him up even higher, and he would have even a better chance of becoming the face of the league. He could easily become that, but he's just determined to do it the opposite direction. And that's what I find so frustrating. But ultimately, That's why I personally believe it's like, why not just at this point permanently only refer to him as Ja Warrant, Ja Warrant, because it's fitting, and he's clearly not going to stop. So at this point, there's no reason not to do that. And plus, it's funny and fun. Ever since I first saw that the first time around, I've adopted it permanently. It's like when here in Portland, when all the hating Blazers fans were hating on LaMarcus Aldridge for leaving for San Antonio when he promised supposedly he was going to be a lifelong Blazer and he was going to resign. I never have had anything against LaMarcus, just like I don't have anything against Ja. I don't have anything against LaMarcus, but I immediately adopted the LaMarsha nickname that the hating crowd has always used against him ever since. And there is still a lot of Blazers fans that hate LaMarcus so much that they actually genuinely are against, as against as possible, of him having his jersey retired. I'm all for his jersey being retired. He's done so much for the Blazers in its history and everything, and this fan base, and it's just ridiculous to think that you would have such a bias against him for doing what I think made perfect sense. Like, I wholly, to this day, I completely understand every reason why he would ever have left, and I wholly support it. I think it was the smartest fucking decision he could have made, actually, is to leave this damn organization, and he did. And so, I mean, I applaud him for that decision because he made a really smart decision, and I have absolutely nothing against him, and I am perpetually a fan of him, but I will still always refer to him as LaMarsha. That's just the kind of person I am. So when I say Ja Warrant, I'm not trying to be a dick about it. I do that because it's just fun. And I don't mean anything against anyone when I do that. So Ja Warrant, fix your shit, for the love of God, because you're really starting to get under my skin. You're really frustrating me because you're squandering and burning away. You're throwing into an industrial incinerator this beautiful fucking opportunity you've been presented to be able to do nothing but incredibly positive, hugely impactful, good shit with your fortune, your fame, and your position, your status, your platforms, and you're hellbent on squandering it away for what, though? Like, why? Why are you so determined to turn heel, go 180 degrees the opposite direction of what you've been gifted? Like, you're literally in a position that is the exact opposite of that. And now that you gained it, you want to go that direction? Speaking of cops, it's just like, this guy is a fucking idiot. He's a absolute fucking moron. He kills me, man. He absolutely makes me want to smack my head into a brick wall. How topical. Ja Warrant, everybody. Dear Lord, man. Anyway, I've said what I wanted to say. So, hopefully Ja somehow, I don't know, maybe he gets in a car accident and smashes his head into something, and somehow it makes him have a great awakening in his head and realize, I've been a fucking idiot and I'm fucking up. I want to fix that. And flip another 180 and go back the other way again. Realize what he has and what he can do with it rather than how he can squander it away. It's just wild to me.